Hi, and welcome to the SEO podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. My name is Chris Burris, one of the owners at eWeb Results.
My name is Matt Bertram, your SEO expert.
He is an SEO expert, one of the owners, the CEO, and like a marketing genius who has written a book that is actually an Amazon bestseller, Build Your Brand Mania. You should check that out. We are broadcasting live from Houston, Texas. As you can see, I'm in front of the brick wall with my very ungreen plant. And Matt, you're in a very fancy living room there.
Yeah, it's like based in the 80s, right? But it looks legit, right? Like there's actually a green screen behind me. And this is like one of the pictures. The table gives it away. My shirt kind of gives it away.
Yeah.
But I like the depth aspect of it. It looks like I'm actually in the room. You're like, hey, where are you at? When we first got on.
Do this. Sorry, officer. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, Matt and I, we are your results
rebels.
We've got an article for you today. It's Paving the Path Forward with SEO, Preparing for New Normalities. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we jump into that, I do want to read a review. We like to go over all of our reviews, even when they're not the full 5 stars. This one is 2. It's from B Mom of 3. The title is, As the Old Songwriting Adage Goes, Don't Bore Us, Get to the Chorus. That's how it started, actually. You guys ramble a lot. I'm a busy person. Don't waste my time selling me on your stuff every 5 seconds for the first 10 minutes. Give me some meat and potatoes. Interesting she used that phrase. I don't know if she
So she's listened to a lot of podcasts if she knows that terminology.
Yeah. So if you prove your value, I'll be willing to listen to the pitch later in the show. Hey, we get this regularly. We understand. And really, it's just kind of the way that we've decided that we're going to do things. Please give us reviews. We'll read them on air, and maybe you can convince us someday. What we do know is we have a very serious 5-star rating, and it's significant. I think it's something like 9 times easier to get a negative review than a positive review. And we have 9 times more positive reviews than negative reviews. And so the math is like really off in a positive direction for us, right? Let's see, we're going to get into that article. Hey, if you do like this podcast, and we're actually broadcasting live now on 2 platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube Live. Hello, if we're on either one of those, make sure you followed our page.
Comment right now. That's what we want you to do. We want you to comment right now. You don't need to go leave a review. Don't need to share it right now.
Look. We've already got comments. Bruce Nice says 5 stars, says, I see you, laugh out loud. And then we've got Manny Oliveras. We haven't seen you in a while. Great that you're connected. That is through Facebook. This is pretty
Manny, give me a call, man. I got a medical billing company that was talking about scaling. I'm interested in some equity, kind of like shared revenue, not equity, but shared revenue deals. So give me a call. We're looking at changing the business model a little bit to be kind of like value-add private equity firm. You and I never really talked, so hit me up.
Yeah. Make the contact. If you like this, so you guys are already connected on Facebook, make sure you Shiko us.
Share, like, follow.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. You could do it with 3. We'll also remind you at the end to do it with 3 more people.
Okay. Well, really, just in case you forget.
It's important to us. And I am going to ask you, I'm going to slide this in before Matt says anything. Go to ewebresults.com/G+. Yes, it's an old link, but it's very easy to use. G and the little plus symbol. That'll take you. If you like this podcast, leave us a review. And sure, please make sure that it is 5 stars.
Woo!
He didn't even join me because he was like, you're not supposed to do that at the beginning of the podcast.
That's right.
I snuck it in. All right. So we're covering Paving the Path Forward with SEO, Preparing for New Normalities. Again, this is by Lemuel Park. Patif to you, Lemuel. This is a good article. We got a lot to cover. It's interesting because we kind of like 3 podcasts into this COVID lockdown, we were like, hey, maybe we need to get off of COVID. but really all the articles and a lot of what's going on and every change that's happening in SEO is driven by this COVID lockdown and then the release.
Buyer behavior. Yeah, what people are doing online.
The whole buyer behavior. So we're going to talk a lot about that right now. We're up to 1.5 million searches in a month. He says that SEO is now mission critical. We've kind of always considered that SEO was mission critical. And so he's talking about how SEO paves the way forward. Even prior to COVID-19, organizations were struggling to keep pace with rapidly evolving consumer behavior. That's absolutely true. You got to have the right tools in place. I like this phrase, and I know I've shared it with you before, Matt. I don't know if I've shared it on the podcast. The rate of change will actually never be slower than it is today.
That's pretty awesome because of the
right? Like, the rate of change is going to be faster tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So we're all like going, oh, this rate of change is insane and it's happening faster. It's never going to be slower than it is today. So get used to it.
I do feel like the days are speeding up for me.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
Were they kind of slowed and bogged down and now they're speeding up, or?
I think it's, I don't know, as I get older, right? Like out of my lifespan, each day shorter. And so it doesn't take as long to get there. I don't know. But
maybe you're in some sort of time warp.
SEO
was once considered a simple marketing channel. It's grown over the last decade into a rich, abundant source of business and consumer intelligence. Like if you just think about trying to understand the consumer, and you can type phrases into Google and understand, like the phrases can be fairly and ambiguous, meaning they could mean multiple things. And then you go to the search result page and you see what results Google are showing. That tells you what the consumers or users who are typing that phrase in are actually looking for, because as they find it, Google moves it up. I mean, it's a really profound tool for all sorts of things just outside of, even outside of SEO.
Well, Chris, I can tell you that like the definition of SEO continues to get more and more broad. Right.
Wait, isn't SEO dead? Don't we read an article once a month that it's dead?
Well, the king is dead, long live the king, right? So, but I can tell you that like when people come and they say they want SEO, they don't want SEO. They want someone to spoon feed them leads, okay? Yeah. And they want deals like that. They're asking, when they ask for SEO, is full on digital services. From CRO to everything that goes into closing a deal. Like they want help with the sales process, like everything. Like everything's now SEO is like catch-all. It's like Coke. Like I need a Coke. I need SEO. I need everything.
Yeah, except it's like the technical version, right? It's not like I need online marketing, because it's like I need SEO, which means I know what I'm talking about enough to know the phrase SEO. And so I need SEO. All right, search marketers are in a position to really help customers recapture or transform their business into the more digital focused economy. And then here are things that he brought out. People always need products and services. True, right? SEO reaches the consumer when they are in the state of need, regardless of state of mind. When there is scarcity, people turn to search. I gotta say, like, I have a very recent experience where, we're in COVID lockdown. I'm trying to figure out things to do with my kids, keep my kids busy. Really, what I'm trying to do is figure out how I can drain as much energy out of my children as possible during the day. And Nintendo Switch actually has this thing called Adventure Fit. You like do twists, and like the game is very physically active. You can't find it, right? So I just one day I was like, oh, maybe I need to get one of those. We had played around with it at the mall one day. And so I just hopped on to Amazon because, they deliver in 2 days, and it wasn't there. And guess what I did next? You start Googling, you start going every place. By the way, it's not available anywhere. If you have a bunch of them in your closet, now is the time to sell them, because they're selling for an incredibly high price on eBay. But it's absolutely true. When there's scarcity, people will turn to search to figure out solutions. SEO is affordable and efficient for ROI. Optimized content helps protect, build, and grow your brand equity, assuming you're doing the content right. SEO is the voice of the consumer and provides vital insights into consumer behavior and patterns. And finally, search helps future-proof the business and provides immediate, midterm, and long-term wins. All of those, yeah, very important for search marketing. With over 53% of website traffic coming from organic search, now is the time for organizations to leverage SEO in a multitude of ways, especially when you think about how during COVID-19, a lot of companies have turned off their paid ads, right? Like we've got that experience to share as well.
Well, I think that's really where you see the power of SEO and the ROI returns on it is if you have to cut spending, you turn off the ads, everything is gone, right? You're kind of renting that space. SEO, you kind of earn it, or you kind of have some real estate that will hold, and it will start to pay dividends. Also, I've really seen SEO as an avenue to continue to improve authority and branding. There's really a lot of advantages for people when they search for different keywords for your company to continuously come up over and over and over again. There's even data points that say, hey, someone needs to see your brand. What is it like? 7, I think it's now 12 times before they get kind of brand recognition.
Yep.
And so to pay for that traffic over and over again and people to know that you're paying for that traffic and the trust is just way higher when you look at SEO.
From an SEO perspective, for sure. SEO now, utilizing insights and taking action. As the pandemic situation continues, opportunities will arise for brands to win prime search visibility.
Is that digital marketing in general, not just SEO. Whoa, Chris, you're like zooming in and all kinds of crazy stuff.
We've got extra tools on this StreamYard.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I don't even remember what I was going to say. Honestly, you're distracting me.
Well, it's like changing conditions and proactive marketers kind of pivoting.
Changing conditions. Well, I think digital marketing gives you instant feedback loops, right? Yeah. You can look at the data. I think that if you're running like a billboard or a magazine ad or something like that, after it runs, it's done, right? But with digital marketing, you get this constant feedback loop and you can make changes and you see what's happening with buyer behavior and customer journey, and you can make just much, much better decisions. So I just love digital marketing for that aspect.
Right now, he's saying brands have unlimited potential to entertain, assist, educate, inform. And he's going to jump into these, what is it, 6? I think it's 6 points, right? And then the paving the path forward. So the first point he has is real-time data. He says leverage and understand and react to trends and consumer behavior. And he talks about the insights that SEO data gives marketers in terms of understanding intent, which I spoke about a little bit earlier. Behavioral and buying patterns has never been so important. At a time when consumers are making both rational and irrational decisions based on emotion, which is
95% of all decision making. Yeah.
And the formation of new habits. I mean, that's one of the great points is like there's opportunity in this environment because people are creating new habits. And, at least here in the States, in, a lot of places, when you're creating new habits, you need new gear. You need to research those habits. If I'm going to run more, do I need better shoes? If I'm going to bike, what changes do you need in the bike? I went to a bike ride with my family. I think secretly my wife popped her tire so that she was able to take an Uber home from
Oh,
the
wow.
No, it just popped. It just got a little tiny hole on the inside. So I had to buy tires. Like, I haven't bought tires for the bikes in, years. So lots of changes are happening right now. All right. So search data is valuable not just to the SEO team, but for marketing, product, and PR teams who are looking to understand new types of customer journeys and what drives people on their journey. I mean, I can share with my other business. I saw an opportunity as it relates to bulletproof coffee. Like, what's the search volume for bulletproof coffee? How competitive is bulletproof coffee? It's bulletproof coffee. One of the components is MCT. My other company has an MCT product. So because I understand the marketing, it starts to look at, is there opportunity in that market with a similar product?
Well, Chris, I'm actually working with a company right now that has a disinfectant that kills COVID, and so we were going to be promoting that on their site as a distributor. And what's interesting is the actual manufacturer said that they can white label the product. Right. And so it'll still have the same like code or whatever, but they can white label it, build their brand, build keyword equity in that area. It's very similar, kind of what you and I are doing. And it was just really, really interesting, because I was like, hey, I can outrank the company that sells this for their keyword volume search, right? And then, like, we were talking a lot about like affiliate marketers just bidding on remarketing, right? So I can outrank them for that, and then I can target them with remarketing. And I go, man, we're going to pick up a lot of business, and then changing that brand, we can grow a whole new market that is not going to be competitive with that. So there's definitely some interesting strategies evolving that you can utilize. So
yeah, makes sense. His second point is benchmarking competition. Know your share of voice and work to capture market share. So when he's talking about voice, share of voice, like, what's the voice out there that's singing the same song or a similar song? As the shift to digital accelerates. And I think we can agree, Matt, and you and I have had lots of conversations about, what is the direction of eWeb moving forward and what are the opportunities? Because if there aren't any opportunities, and we kind of agreed on that, then that's one strategy. And both of us are like, look, everybody's shifting online. Digital marketing is more important than it has ever been. And it's going to continue to just get more and more important. So yeah, this shift is happening digitally. Content strategies must be informed by insights on how aggressively competitors are targeting search topics and how their content performs in smartphone, tablet, and desktop searches. Right? Just looking for those opportunities. Maybe your chief competitor really has a great website and their mobile version sucks. And so you see an opportunity to really knock it out of the park mobilely.
No, I mean, that's the biggest. So we're getting a lot of requests for PR right now. Everybody's like wanting to do PR. But a lot of people are redoing their websites and realizing that their online presence is so important. That's probably the biggest request we're getting is, hey, my website functionality is not where it needs to be. Really, it's like, I think it's 88% of the customer journey. And we've talked about this in the past, but 88% of the customer journey, and this was before COVID, happens online before they even pick up the phone to call you. That's how important your brand equity is, what you're presenting yourself online, how people can find you, reviews, because you don't even know the business that you're not getting because they've already deselected you as an option before they even call you. Go ahead.
I think it's important to like just slow down and paint that picture, right? Because for a lot of business owners, when that phone call first comes in, that's when their sales process starts in their mind. Like hey, we've started. What they don't realize is that the customer is 88% through the buying process before they even call. And so you got to be thinking more downstream in terms of like it's upstream, like what's happening to the customer before they pick up the phone call. And that's all kind of SEO, digital marketing strategy, website, like everything that goes in there. What are the follow-up emails? Everything that happens before they pick up the phone. That's as probably more important than your salesperson and your sales script to convert.
So two quick examples. So, well, one example to talk about this and then how it's impacting me right now. One, I can tell you, if you walk onto a car lot, okay, and they'll start asking you questions like at the beginning of the sales process. A lot of these sales reps are doing that because I bought a car recently. Next one is going to be a Tesla. But
next one's Tesla, yes.
Yeah, but what I can tell you is, like, I was like, we already knew color, size, price range, everything. We were like, do you have this or not? Like, like that was real. Like, we had already made the decision, and really the customer service that this provider had is why I was going there. But I was done. I was done. I was just like, do you have it or not? And whoever was lucky enough to come. I mean, if people walk into a car like they're ready to buy, and now they're even more armed and more educated into what's going on. To answer or to address kind of another component of what you said is when I'm talking to prospective clients, really talking about their sales process is extremely important. We had one client that was just sending a text message to the email saying, hey, give me a call. And they were like, why isn't my sales converting? I was like, well, that's cold traffic. You're going to have to do a little bit more. But also I have another client that has a large sales team, and we've already decided how many inbound leads have to come in for him to start reducing his sales force. And I'm in the conversation with him right now about, hey, why don't you give me some of the sales budget or the salary that you're putting towards your two lowest salespeople, and I could do 8 times what your salespeople could do in outbound calls because they're doing it through a manual process. I mean, I actually cold called for about 8 years. I built up a big business and sold it, doing that exact same in the recruiting space. Well, the reason I moved into digital marketing is because I can create leverage through the email automation that you talked about, through the content marketing, through everything that we're doing to reach more people, right? I mean, like, you're trying to find a needle in a haystack when you're cold calling, and you can do that a lot more effectively with ads or even people searching and finding you directly. So, the power of SEO and the power of digital marketing is absolutely something that you should be paying attention to. I know there's a lot of business owners out there that are still operating in kind of good old boy fashion, and they don't really need a website, and they're getting a lot of referrals. And if you can't handle the business and you can't scale, that's one thing. But if you right now can handle more capacity, you can handle more business, I would encourage you to invest online because I mean it's going to pay off in dividends. So.
Yeah, if you think about, again, that upstream process where you're cultivating them before they even get there, and then to have this kind of email process that happens once they've engaged with you, that you're following up with them on a regular basis. Because I know you talk regularly about that sales conversion happens at like the 11th contact or something. And so most salespeople follow up 3 to 4 times. And so all of these sales opportunities are lost. Like those emails that go out, those remarketing ads that happen, those count as additional contacts in the process of moving somebody from interest to conversion. So,
and I think they're low impact touch points, right? Like it's kind of like driving people to a 1-800 number, so they don't have to talk to a salesperson and feel the pressure. They can kind of shop on their own. And I think that that's the same thing. Like remarketing would be the same thing as pads and pens that a sales rep drops off at an office as like a reminder. You can just do so much more now online with digital targeting that, I mean, you can go to like, well, right, there's no more conferences right now, but you could go market at a conference to marketing attendance through geofencing, through you can kind of Twitter bomb. You can do some different kind of things to actually have a virtual presence without actually going. And it's a lot more cost effective than paying for a booth and hoping people walk up to you and talk to you, right? And time. So
absolutely. Number 3, his point, paving the path forward with SEO, preparing for new normalities, website optimization, enhance user experiences, and create new experiences. Your website is primed to make sure that your website is primed to convert traffic. Like we've just talked about that from day one. I actually had a conversation today about some ads that are running, going to a landing page. The conversion rate is about 1%, needs to be 2%. And how do you make that happen? What has to happen on that page? And those are conversations like, first, like get as much traffic as you can so that you got data so that you know that it's working or it's not working, right? In our case, it's working just half as good as it should or needs to. And then actually put the effort on the page, make sure you've got the right content, maybe make sure it has the right fonts and the right media and videos so that it actually converts.
Well, you got to also think too where you're getting that traffic from. So you're getting traffic from YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And people that are searching YouTube are definitely different than Instagram, different than Facebook. So really customizing that to them. I know you can't always do that. You want to have one catch-all kind of conversion, but using like a Hotjar or a Crazy Egg or things like that. But it's an iterative process to understand, okay, why are they coming there? What are they looking for? And what are they doing? And a lot of times people are getting stuck somewhere or something's not, the call to action's not clear. But again, right, that's still SEO, right? Conversion optimization. It's still going to fall in that bucket of SEO.
So. Well, I would argue that it belongs under, what you're saying is when the customer comes to us and they want SEO, what they mean is all that. Yes. Let's be realistic. There's a lot of SEOers out there who never get to the on-page optimization other than SEO optimization. Like, how does it convert? Does it convert better?
You got to know so much, right? Yeah. You got to know so much today. Like SEO is constantly a moving target. It continues to change. But really, you have to have the full perspective, right, of how everything fits together and how it's integrated for you to convert traffic effectively online. It's not just about ranking higher. I mean, I read a lot of articles that are like second page, like dead man zone or whatever. I'm like, look, if you're not in the top 3 positions, you're not getting any traffic anyway. So let's talk about how to get you there and keep you there versus anything else. And then, all right, once people go to your page, what are they doing? I mean, that was the whole reason that Google Chrome and Gmail came out, is they want to see what happens once you leave search and what you're doing on the page to better incorporate results and then also marketing power or ads power.
Yeah. So. Yeah, he talks about, so this in terms of website optimization, really this ends up being like an audit. Let's audit yourself internally, look for site health issues that matter most, edit on-page elements such as page title, H1 tags, look at your off-page factors, your loading speed. Like loading speed can be such a killer. Like, and just know that your typical consumer a while ago, like a short while ago, may have always been on workstations, or maybe always converted on a workstation. Now's the time to kind of look at your analytics and understand maybe they've shifted. Are they now mostly on mobile? Or, there was always this trend where that their initial contact was mobile and then their ongoing contact and ultimate conversion was workstation. Have a look, because maybe that's not true. Everybody's using every device that's available in their house right now. And maybe the kids are actually on the computer that's most convenient to convert. And so now your consumers are converting from mobile devices.
And I think one of the things from a speed standpoint that anybody can do, or is like the easiest thing to do if budgeting's tight or marketing's tight for SEO or ads or anything like that, there's so many websites, commercial websites today that are on an old school server that have very slow load time.
Yep.
move it to the cloud. Google wants to see that. Like, you got 3 seconds. If it loads under 2 seconds, Google's going to reward you because it creates a good customer experience. It reduces bounce rate. Yeah. So that's one of the best tips I could give you. If you haven't done that yet, or you're spending money on marketing, spend money on that first. And I mean, if you're running a business and this is your online store or your representation, you can pay more than, $10-20 for hosting. Like, I mean, it really makes a difference.
Right. And a long time ago, we actually brought hosting in-house, right? Because we could have kept it at GoDaddy or register.com or whatever. And we actually, or a HostGator, which actually was right down the street and now is just like a city block away. We could have left it there. But what we realized early on with our customers is at some point, the hosting company is going to blame us for something and we're going to blame the hosting company for something. And guess what? The hosting company isn't making enough, so they don't care. So we're like, well, we'll host it. We'll provide an excellent level of service, quality of service. And then you just don't have this back and forth between your web design team and your hosting team. Or in our case, it's just priced so that we can deliver, white glove service for our hosting. So, keep that in mind. Reach out to us if you're interested.
Well, no, Chris, I think that, that's actually something that we deal with a lot, is because we are doing hosting and we are doing webmaster services, but people hire us for marketing. And then they ask us for a lot of web edits, right? Yeah. And so it's like, where do those hours go in that retainer? And that becomes quite a big issue. And we have a pretty strong technical team, and really SEO is becoming more and more technical, like looking at the hierarchical aspect of it, the information, like how it's sorted, how Google understands it, what people are doing once they get to the website. So there's a lot of those components. Now, I can say too that one of the things we didn't bring in-house, but people think we brought in-house, and is important for everyone to know, is that website hosting and email hosting are freaking two different things. Yep. And emails are very temperamental. And we've actually moved the company to Gmail because we want them to deal with it. Like, email is a big pain. And when forms stop working or something like that, you need to make sure who's in charge, and let your client know, if you are an agency or a freelancer, who's in charge of emails and forms, because we get blamed for that a lot. And we've had to really set clear expectations of where that falls, because a lot of times we don't even have access to email. And when we test it, it's not on our end. So I think understanding or explaining to clients, or even if you are a client or a small business owner or medium-sized business owner, to understand how all these parts fit together, because, people don't understand that, the domain registrar versus the hosting company versus access to WordPress. It's just kind of like even Facebook, there's multiple levels of logging in. These things, this education, I feel like is really, really important to understand what's going on, because, people are paying companies to do things and they don't really understand where the money's going. And I know that that's one of our big goals, is to provide that education so they can make better decisions. I actually just brought on a company that was working with an SEO company that was managing 2 websites. Okay, Chris? They weren't doing content. They weren't building links. The website wasn't optimized. The images weren't optimized. I was kind of and they were spending about $3,000 a month. And I was like, what are you paying? What are you paying for? What are you doing? They had no idea. They had no idea.
They were paying for SEO, and that's what was on the invoice. And so,
well, the keywords weren't moving. People aren't watching it. They're just, hey, I need this, and then they're putting money towards something that they don't really understand what they're getting. And now more than anything is now the time to look at where you're spending money and understand what's happening. That's kind of what I'm seeing a lot, is people are coming to me and go, hey, I'm paying a SEO company and I don't understand what I'm getting. I don't understand the reporting. Can you explain this stuff to me? What do you recommend? So I don't know. I think that just that fundamental or education is super important right now. So.
Very cool. Well, we got 3 more points to get through, and we'll kind of speed it up here. So next, it's content. Create and optimize content in synergy to ensure relevance and performance. Content needs to be authored with usefulness and trustworthiness in line with Google EAT guidelines. Matt, EAT guidelines?
Man, you told me not to talk. We're trying to speed this thing up. Okay, expertise, authority, trustworthiness. Basically,
those guidelines. Yep.
Yeah, there was debate on whether or not that Google actually looked at that in the algorithm. But in February and I think August of last year, they came out and said absolutely, right? And they are rating pages based on this context. You can go read kind of the Google guidelines on that. But basically, expertise, authority, trustworthiness, they're components of anything that you do online. And everything that fits into that bucket is really important. And then you get like a page rating built into the algorithm for this kind of stuff. And so you need to look at, does your page provide value for what people are searching for? If it doesn't, like Google's not going to rank you.
Yep. So the point for him is systematically review all of the content on your site, find gaps in your content, adjust the process to better serve your old and new intended audience. Remember, with COVID, maybe your audience has changed. Maybe their behavior has changed. So go back and review that and look at it from that perspective. The consumer media needs are high because of COVID-19. So it's a great time to be filling marketing gaps, be delivering. It actually makes me think we need to be creating more videos, right? So that opportunity is now. Jump on that and take advantage of that opportunity. Number 5 is global, local, and mobile. Manage, pivot, and optimize for people, places, content, and devices. This is really about understanding your search in a local environment. So maybe if you've got a kind of more national business, maybe that national business was closed and now you're opening up that national business, then there are things that you need to be aware of, or you being aware of search trends in a local area can have a big impact on how you recover and how quickly the awareness that your brick and mortar store is back open for business can happen. So look for those opportunities. Evaluating the searches conducted in the areas surrounding locations will help you build content to drive traffic to reopened locations. So it's always good to have feet on the streets in that local area. But if you can't, then you've just got to kind of put on your local hat and figure out what's going on there and be writing content that really sings to them. And then finally, we've got technology. I don't know if you had anything to add on
that.
No,
go. You can move on. I think that, again, SEO, but digital marketing, like things like the Nextdoor app are working quite well. There's something called House here in Houston.
Yep.
It depends on, you need to understand how people are searching locally, what platforms or Web 2.0s they're using, what review sites, like how people are interacting, and make sure that you have presence in all those areas, because again, multiple touch points to having someone select you. 88% of the people are making the decision before they call you. You need to make sure to be in front of them through every step of the process.
Through all of that. Yep. And finally, technology and innovation, scale performance with additional and valuable automated resources. Really, it is especially important to save time and maximize output in these times of resource scarcity, right? Your resources are probably limited right now. When marketers are being asked to accomplish more and it needs to be accomplished faster during COVID-19, there's a lot of tools that you should be utilizing. You need to utilize technology. I don't know if you've got any specific technology tools, Matt, that you would add here.
Well, we're going to add the bestseopodcast.com, all the different kind of tools and resources we use. So you can go check it out there. Look, it depends on what you're trying to do, but there's an app or a tool or a Chrome plugin for almost anything.
Yeah. So leverage those tools. Maybe maybe it's SEO Quake, maybe it's SEM Rush. Leverage those tools so that you're, maybe not hand creating reports now because, maybe you're short staffed or you've got to accomplish more with less.
Well, data's power, right? Data's power, and you want to make those decisions based on data. And if you don't have the data in front of you, you're just guessing. And in today's day and age, you don't have to. So.
Yeah, you can, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
All right. So in this time of uncertainty, search is the best option for responding to ongoing COVID-19 related business interruptions with speed and agility. I couldn't agree with that more. SEO in particular is critical not only for discovery, but as the channel that provides the greatest insights into consumer behavior in real time. By the way, it's always been that, but like real time is moving faster. I mean, maybe slower on a day-by-day basis, but faster on a business, and we got to make decisions and things need to happen faster basis. So I got patif to Lemuel Park. This is a really good article. We really appreciate it. Really, we're both, Matt and I are just hoping all of y'all out there, because we are from Texas, so all of y'all, and well, we can throw in yous guys, are being safe, are hopefully finding some silver linings in this horrible situation. And then, of course, we've got the recent death and the riots. We just wish that,
and then there's somewhere like anonymously bricks just showing up where the rioters and agitators are. Like, I mean, a little conspiracy theorist there, but like there's just loose bricks, piles of them, like set out. Yeah, to throw. I mean, that's kind of weird.
Well, the thing that I would say is that there are horrible rioters. There are, in cases, unfortunately, horrible police officers.
Yeah,
I don't think it's all. I don't think it's. I think most of the rioters are really, really good, and in fact, there's some
protesters.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. All the rioters are bad. Most of the protesters are good. In fact, some have even kind of protected cops, and that's kind of what you would expect from a civilized society. And I know the horrible things that have happened have maybe made it not feel like a civilized society. So the anger is obviously palpable. We just hope everyone could take a deep breath and come at a more peaceful conclusion. But that's what we all want. That's actually what the protesters are out there for. They would like peaceful conclusions to these types of things more often than not. So appreciate that and all the best. If you like this podcast, we're going to ask you to do 3 simple things. Really just tell 3 people about it. Like, just that it. And
I was going to say, share this. Share it. Just share.
Yeah. Well, it's on YouTube and it's on Facebook.
And we're coming to you live. We're coming to you actually live right now.
That's pretty exciting. If you're looking to grow your business with the largest, simplest marketing tool on the planet,
the internet or SEO?
Call eWeb Results for increased revenue in your business. 713-592-6724. Also, if you have a referral, somebody who's interested in internet marketing, we'd be happy to take incredibly good care of them for you, and then make sure we've got some sort of arrangement in place that gets you compensated the way you want, or maybe it goes to charity, or maybe it goes wherever. Remember, we were filmed live here in Houston, Texas. We're at 2 locations. If you want transcript, video, audio, go to Best SEO Podcast, and we'll be happy to share lots of information there, and then connect with you. Anything else, Matt?
No.
All right. Well, you guys have made us the most popular SEO podcast and one of the most popular internet marketing podcasts. Until the next podcast, my name is Chris Burris.
My name is Matt Bertram.
Bye-bye for now.